All right, we're recording. So this is Chloe House interviewing Scott on October 3rd, 2025. Okay, so thanks so much again for agreeing to be interviewed today.
You're welcome.
We'll start off with our first question being, what is your relationship with the department and how did that relationship arise and how did it evolve over time?
Okay, so currently I'm an associate professor of teaching in the department with my key duties looking over the fourth year teaching labs. Recently I've also taken on the role of associate department head for our department, which is a big shift from where I started from. I began in the department in 2004 as a sessional lecturer for a summer biochemistry course that at the time I kind of thought was going to be a one-off thing, do that, maybe do it a second time, but I never really saw a long-term opportunity there. But I enjoyed doing it so much. I really loved teaching that course the one summer I taught it. And then through that I made some connections in the department, and when I came aware that Dr. Richard Barden, who taught the fourth year undergrad labs at the time, was starting to think about retiring, conversations happened. I met with several people, and when that job opportunity opened up, I was super keen to jump on it and take it.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, you're clearly doing a really great job with teaching that course.
Well, thank you. As a former student, there's
a little bit biased,
some insight there. Yeah. So yeah, it very much started that my capacity began with just very much teaching. And over the years, I've integrated more and more into the department, and was quite surprised a couple of years ago when Jörg came to me with the suggestion that I work with him in terms of leadership in the department.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. So, just a follow-up question. So when you started as a sessional lecturer in one of the summer courses, what course was that?
It was a course we don't offer anymore. It was Biochemistry 300, which is now the equivalent. So it was a 6-credit course over the summer. It was a very intensive course because, if I recall right, it was 3 hours every day, 5 days a week.
Wow.
And the whole course was condensed into about a 6-week, maybe 8-week period. So it happened very quick. It was very intense.
Yeah.
And it was biochemistry for non-biochemists. And that was the first time I'd ever interacted with, in any kind of, I TA'd as a grad student, but I'd always TA'd biochemistry students in a biochemistry program. And this really gave me a new teaching challenge. It was trying to kind of highlight what do people need out of this course to take back to their program of study.
Yeah, well that must have been really interesting.
It was, in hindsight, I think I do it a lot different now than I did it at the time,
Makes
but
sense.
We all have to start from somewhere.
Yeah, okay, great. We can move into our next question, very related, but if you have anything else to elaborate on. What work do you do in our department?
So, as I said earlier, my main role is in running the fourth year labs. So we have a lab course for the honor students in term 1. Term 2, we have a lab course for the major students, although honor students are allowed to take that as well. And that is because those are multi-session courses, that's multiple days a week. The term 1 lab course is the full day. It's an 8-hour lab day. So that occupies a large amount of my time in the teaching. And then in more recent years, I've stepped into the new role we have in the department of an associate head. At least in my time frame in the department, there hasn't been an associate head. My understanding is that there wasn't an associate head before this, so this is a new role, and it's one that Jörg and I are still working our way through to kind of figure out how to divide things up and what's the best approach of working collectively together on top of that. But that's For the most part, I am trying to take care of things relating directly to the undergrad teaching program and TA-ships and hiring sessional lecturers, hiring new teaching faculty, all that type of thing, but then starting to get introduced to bigger parts of the department and basically having a viewpoint into everything the department does, which has been a major challenge, but also a really great opportunity to understand our department in a much deeper capacity.
Yeah, I bet. That sounds challenging, but also really rewarding too.
Yeah, having years, obviously any of us who are in an academic role have come up through the university system, spent time as undergrads, grad students, postdocs, early career faculty, all those things, and I think this is the first time in now working at this higher organization level that I'm really understanding how things work at the university, and things that often seemed very strange and bizarre and hard to understand why they were done the way they are. A lot of those have a lot more clarity now than I see how things are structured, so it's like learning a whole new world.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, we can go on to our next question, which is, what is the department culture like?
Yeah, that, I left myself, hope you don't mind, a couple of notes.
Oh, no worries.
There's a lot of adjectives I could put together to describe the department, but I think the ones that come out the most to me are collaborative and ambitious. That's something I noted from the very first day I joined the department, was it seemed to me that there was a very strong will for people to work productively together, to encourage each other, even though often we were doing very, very, very different things, and we could have disagreements on what we should be doing, how we should get there, the approach. It was always in the most collaborative, collegial manner possible. And I've seen a few other departments, very briefly, that's not a given in a department, that people are just so committed to working together in a productive way. That's something I really appreciate about our department. I've really noticed that's, I think a lot of us hold that very valuable. At the same time, ambition. The faculty that we have now, those who came before, those who I had an opportunity to overlap with briefly, the commonality is people are ambitious here, and are wanting to push the boundaries, try new things, explore new spaces, maximize what they're doing, and that from the outside when I started had a little bit of an intimidation factor to it, but I've really come to use that as inspiration in everything I do to keep trying to do better and better and better.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and I feel like I definitely agree too from a student perspective on both of those values.
Oh, that's great. I'm happy that translates down to undergrad, grad student levels, that they can feel that, we actually really do all like working together.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, sort of related to that question, our next question is, what are some of your fondest memories of the department?
Yeah, that one actually took me a little bit of time to think about as to what, because I pretty much only have good memories here. I mean, obviously we all have some low moments and things, but those are unavoidable. I've had so many great experiences within the department, but I think the ones that actually I'll probably remember long term are actually the things that happened away from campus, when we're away from doing our day-to-day work. Now, really what I'm getting at is, a ton of us enjoy mountain biking, hiking, and skiing, all the classic BC activities.
Right.
And there's times that there'd be quite a large group of faculty that would be out for a mountain bike ride or a hike together, where we're obviously talking in a social capacity, but at the same time we are sharing ideas about our vision for work, a vision of where things are going. And really, again, I think that helps in the collaboration and the collegiality, that we all, a lot of us share very common interests, and we can walk out of UBC and enjoy being together doing these various activities. And just having colleagues that I interact with in that capacity it is just the best work environment you could have.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, especially I feel like that would really lend itself well to collaboration and just enjoying like working with each other. Just enjoying each other as people outside of research too.
Yeah. Exactly. You go out for dinner together, you oftentimes we'll carpool together to go on a mountain bike ride, and in the car together we're sharing ideas, talking, and as you get to know someone as a person, it really enhances how you work together in a professional capacity, because you know where they're coming from and what their passions are, what they value, and it just brings a really rewarding aspect to work.
Yeah, well, that's really great to hear. So our next question is, what is your proudest contribution to the department during your time here?
That's probably the easiest question, because I don't even have to think about that. It is the undergrads I get to work with. Again, there's many things I've been happy that we've achieved in my time here. I would say very little of that would be solo me. It's usually in collaboration with others. But the greatest contribution is the opportunity to work with the undergrads in our department, and really, taking even a step back from just pure biochemistry, molecular biology, is seeing them succeed. Watching them have a vision of what they want to do, transitioning to it. I mean, speaking to you directly now as one of those people, right? That you really get to see them start their scientific journey. They're, obviously the undergrad is the beginning of one's more senior academic endeavors, but I think that transition into grad school or professional life, working in industry or whatever people do, you see them take that next step. And just the passion they bring to that, the excitement, the energy, to me, working with those people to harness that and really help them move on to the next step, that's the thing that keeps me in this job.
Yeah, well, that's really great to hear, and I feel like I can also personally attest to the fact that I feel like you do have like a huge impact on like your students. I feel like it's a very like transitional period going from your last year of your undergrad to figuring out what you want to do, and being able to be in a really supportive learning environment is so helpful.
That's fantastic. I'm glad that that's how it felt, because that's the what I really want to do with that is the details of biochemistry, the techniques we're working on any given day. 5 years from now will be replaced with a new technique, a new approach, new ideas. All the technical sides, even the information we know, at some point, hopefully it will be outdated with a better insight as to how life works at a molecular level. So all that's going to change, but the constant will always be helping people take that next step in their professional or academic journeys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
But yeah, okay. So our next question, going back a little bit more to the department side, is how has the department changed over your time here? I guess this could be the department itself, but maybe also the course that you've taught, or the courses that you've taught too.
Yeah, I'll actually go in a slightly different direction with that, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my time here, the nature of teaching at UBC has fundamentally changed. And I think of all the change I've seen, whether it be in my own courses, in the student population, in the department, all of those changes are relatively small in comparison to the shift in how teaching happens here. When I first started, the role I came into was known as instructor. And when you got your tenure, you were senior instructor. And that was kind of the end of it. That was the full progression. And even though it was a title, it did seem to create some level of difference between traditional research faculty and the teaching faculty. where over time, I think it was probably around 2012, I forget time frames now.
That's okay.
They changed the wording from instructor to assistant professor of teaching, associate, or full professor of teaching. And with that, it wasn't just a name change. When it first happened, I think I was a little questioning, is this just a rebranding where there's a new name coming in? But it really did come with a whole new set of expectations and a whole new aspect to the job. When I started, it was really teach and service. Those are your two roles. Now, I also kept an active role in research during that time frame, but that was out of interest. That was not actually part of my job description. And the service roles were very much centered around the undergraduate program. In a relatively short time frame of my career to date, with the change in name came a whole new role that there was be an equivalent how a researcher would go about their scholarly work, that we would start seeing teaching through that same lens. That we were to develop our skills in teaching, we were to start studying how teaching and learning happens, innovations in that space, contributions to new ways of approaching it. And that's all kind of thrown under the shell of what we now call education leadership, which for many of us is still a bit of a nebulous. We're not always sure exactly what this is. But what it did do is change it from you are here to teach and do service around education to you are here to teach but also start pushing the boundaries of what university level teaching is and how it should be done. And that's just fundamentally changed what day-to-day work looks like for us. And anybody who's now being hired in, the last educational faculty we hired, we explicitly had that as part of the application process. What's your vision for educational leadership? What types of things do you want to pursue? So that has been a shift, not in the department, across the whole university, but it's really been a major shift in what those of us who are focused on teaching are here to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. What do you think sort of instigated that shift in perspective? Is it more university level or is it individual departments? Sort of
where the impetus for this came from, I have no idea. I'm sure people higher up had saw this coming for numerous years. Us, especially at that time down at the instructor level, we were not often brought into broader conversations about what's happening at the university. Just for our role was to teach. You have these classes, and at the time I had a much heavier teaching load. I was doing 3 courses all the time, so you didn't have a lot of time to be thinking much outside of what you were actually teaching.
Yeah, makes sense.
But there was obviously some people at a high level within the university who had a different vision for what this would be, and there's been some growing pains with it for sure. But I think 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, they had the first educational leadership at 10 years in, and we had a university-wide discussion about what's working well, what's not working, where's this going. So it's still very much, whoever started it, I'm not sure, but the evolution of what this is and what it's going to become is still very much in progress.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you don't mind another follow-up, how do you think that this change has impacted students within the department, like the quality of their education? Maybe that's a hard question.
No, it's a fantastic question. You saw my reaction there.
Yeah.
In that, to be really open and fair about that, I think a lot of it is good. There are some things that I think are maybe detracting a little bit from the student experience in some cases. Not always. when we started, as I said, our job was to make sure our courses ran phenomenally well and great. Like anything else, when you have new duties, you know, we are now to be publishing papers on education and getting grants to have seed money to build new programs, new course, and this is all really good and has a positive impact on students who will join these new courses, new programs and things. But it also sometimes takes away a little bit of our time to focus on our own courses, our own frontline teaching.
Makes sense.
And when I started, you would wake up every day and your focus was just on making sure your classes go amazingly well and ultra smooth and you've thought through everything. I find now on any given day I'm pulled in 10 different directions, which is good, it's interesting, it's exciting, but I don't have that single-minded focus of just teaching, and I always have the fear that, you know, I'm not going to be as on top of the teaching. So I think overall, I think this has been a really great thing for undergraduate students, and it improves, the whole vision is it improves their experience here. But on our road there, I think as we're pulled out of the classroom a little more, there's, you know, the potential that we're not as committed to that one task.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. All right. Okay, I think this is our next question. How has the department changed over your time here? I guess that's sort of related to what you already said.
Yeah, I think the biggest, I'm just going to refer to my notes here again. Yeah, that I think is the biggest change, but at a department level, I see that actually played out in a slightly different way. And maybe it was my and my colleagues' bias when we started that we really felt our role was to worry about the undergrad program, our courses, and that was our domain. Because I remained engaged in research, I was always keen to go to research talks, go to the poster sessions, engage on what was happening on a research front. And over time, it really felt like we got folded more and more and more into the workings of the department. I think if you had have told me on the year I started that one day you would be an associate head of the department, I would not have believed that's even a possibility. That's just that is not going to happen. That our roles have moved just beyond our courses we teach or just beyond the undergrad program has been the biggest change I've seen at a department level, and that we're seen as part of the faculty.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. All right, a little bit more of a personal question is, what have you gotten out of the department and how has it shaped who you are today?
Yeah, check my notes. I think one of the things I've really gotten out of the department is collaboration. Again, when I joined the department, I very much saw my role as in the teaching side, but I still had an active collaboration going with another research group on campus outside of the biochemistry department. And over time, that allowed me the opportunity to actually have some pretty meaningful collaborations with other people. Early on a project, we got to work with Peter using his then at the time very new idea of the lipid nanoparticles for knocking down expression of a gene in the liver. Had I not been part of the department, I don't think I would have ever drawn that connection, like, hey, I know someone who has this new technology for doing this in a very effective manner. In a very different sense, I had the opportunity to work with Brett Finley on characterizing some lipid droplets during salmonella infections that led to a couple papers that I worked with people in his group. Those are opportunities that only came about because I was in the department here. So it really gave me some new collaborations and moved into areas where I would have never dreamed of going in my research life. On top of that, I think one of the big takeaways I've gotten out of the department too is when I first started, we were in a much older building, the DH Cop building, which is now gone. And by time we were there, it was really just the teaching people that were left in the building. Most of the researchers, well, all the researchers, had since left the COP building and moved over to the LSI. And I think the COP building had extended well beyond its useful life. We didn't have hot water.
Wow.
The water was, you couldn't drink the water in the building. The heat would always take a month in December to get situated, where we'd often have to work with gloves on because it was so cold in the building. And out of all of that, I really did learn to appreciate that you don't let your environmental surroundings dictate what you can do. My technician's lab that supports the teaching lab, her lab happened to be Michael Smith's old lab.
Oh, really?
And it was a little tiny space down in the basement. There were these little tiny windows up almost at the ceiling that you could barely see anything out of, and only a little daylight came in. These little tiny pocket sinks. Any researcher would look at that space now and say, you know, how could anybody even work here? But there was a plaque on the wall that reminded us that the Nobel Prize winning work was done in this lab. And to me, that actually became really part of how I saw things, and that, okay, yeah, we're in a building that is beyond its serviceable life, it's less than ideal conditions, but we're never going to use that as an excuse not to try to do great work and be committed to excellence, because the people who came before, they achieved great things here, so we can too.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably the biggest impact the department had on me, was our physical location in that building.
That's so interesting. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. So switching gears a little bit more forward thinking, is what kind of message would you like to give to the members of the department today?
Because of my poor memory. Yeah, so I think, to me, one of my favorite things that I actually get to see around the department is, I'm sure you've seen the picture of the early biochemical discussion group.
Yeah.
Where you have Michael Smith, Gobin Karana, Zid Zabarsky, Gordon Tenner, and numerous other people that I don't recognize in that photo. When I first got to join the department, I remember the first time I ever saw that picture of, like, just almost being stopped in my tracks of, like, wow, this is the history of the department that I'm joining. This is intimidating. These are big, important people. And that excellence that they led, it was in the people. It was a commitment to trying to do great work, working together. That early B&B discussion group had people, I think the discussion group probably preceded the foundations of the department even.
Yeah.
And that was a time when people were coming in from different parts of the university to talk in this emerging field of biochemistry, that there's a history of excellence, and the excellence was in the people, and that each of us who joined the faculty, every student that comes through the department, especially the grad students and postdocs, you're part of that history now, and I think it's up for all of us to try to do as much as we can to leverage that excellence and keep it going. That we have the opportunity to come in incredible standing from those who came before us, and I'm keen to see what time's gonna lead to, and who are our new Michael Smiths? Who are our amazing grad students and postdocs who will at some point potentially leave our department, go on to other things and do amazing big things there. So that's kind of big picture with that, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's really exciting to think about where everybody's going to go and where we're going to be in 25 years, maybe as a department, but also just as people who are in the department now.
Exactly, like I think this very symposium that we're having this year is a reminder that our department is the people who have come through here, even if it was for a relatively brief period of time. Hopefully we've shaped and had some impact on them as scientists and researchers and professionals. And as they move elsewhere in the world and carry on with whatever their professional work's going to be, that part of what they learned here and will hopefully shape them a bit, and it actually moves well beyond the boundaries of UBC and our department.
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit switching back to thinking about the department over time are there any areas where you think the department has stayed very consistent?
I just wanted to remember my wording on this a bit. It's kind of getting back to one of the earlier comments I made, but essentially, while the teaching landscape has changed, the buildings have changed, a whole lot of details of the department have changed. That shared vision of collaboration, excellence, and just cohesion of our department has never changed. When I sit in a departmental meeting, the discussions we have and the way we interact with each other and the thoughtfulness people bring to the table reminds me of the first couple of faculty meetings I ever had an opportunity to sit in. Is that the faces have changed, the location changed, but how we interact with everyone, the collegial manner, and just a shared vision to go for excellence. And I think one of the things that really stands out to me is that every single interaction I can think of it within the department, people tended to think at a department level and less at a personal level. It wasn't their achievement, it was an achievement by the department. And in an endeavor like science, it is really easy to start making it very personal about that one person.
Absolutely.
But I think everyone appreciates the foundation that we get to build from in the department, that I think just that spirit of what it is in our department has never changed in my time frame here.
Yeah, well that's really great to hear. Related to that, what kind of legacy do you think the department has created?
Like I say, I hope that is collaboration, a drive for excellence, and the realization that when we work together, it's bigger than any one of us. That truly great things need all kinds of people and all kinds of visions. Legacy is one of those things. I'm happy to talk about the prior legacy. In our current day, what our legacy is going to be, I think it's very important that time dictates what that is.
That's fair.
I'm kind of scapegoating or escaping answering this question, but I think I hope the legacy will be very positive. From my role within teaching, I really hope our undergrads will value what they've taken out of our program, and that extends out to our grad students and postdocs. Even though I get to interact with them less than the undergrads, they're going to define our legacy. They're going to reflect later and tell us if we did a great job or not, or what was the thing we did well. And I really think it's important that they define what that legacy is, not us here.
That's fair. No, I really like that answer. I don't think it's scapegoaty. I think it's realistic and important.
Yeah. And I think sometimes it just needs that lens of time to know what it is. We could be doing very important things right now that we don't even realize. This is fundamentally the most important thing we're doing in whatever policy, whatever course, whatever approach to teaching, whatever research we're driving towards. Who knows what the next big thing's going to be. I think all we can do is be committed to trying our best every single day when we come to work, to do the best we possibly can, and hopefully there's a good, powerful legacy somewhere in there.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I totally agree.
Good.
Okay, I have one more question for you. So, looking ahead to maybe the future, what do you think the department should focus on for the next 25 years?
Yeah, that's a hard one. And I certainly have ideas in that regard. I think one of the most important things to do on that is that we not get too fixated on where we should have a vision of where we're going, but also know that things change so rapidly that it's hard to know what's going to even be possible in 25 years. So I guess if we were to focus on something, to focus on the unpredictability, to focus on change. And I think it's really important that I've seen in my time frame the rate of advancement of science is accelerating all the time. The breadth of knowledge, as one would expect, if one bit of work leads to more work and new questions, we should always be expanding the rate of new knowledge acquisition. That speed is getting unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the ability to do things that were once deemed impossible makes it very hard to even comprehend what 25 years from now will look like. But I think we can still ground that in ambition, in the pursuit of knowledge, in the pursuit of excellence in our work. That's what we need to arm people with. I think if you have the ambition to do work, if you have the drive to do it ethically, properly, with kind of an open vision to be research will be what it is, we're in a position to leverage whatever changes come. Obviously, AI is changing things. When I started my scientific career, the Human Genome Project had not even been completed. That then became completed and we started really seeing all the new things. CRISPR came around, all these genetic constructs we would love to make, and the gene edits and personalized medicine that were once seen as a far-off pipe dream that would never happen were all of a sudden upon us. So I think with all these tools, things that right now seem impossible will not be impossible for much longer.
Yeah.
So I think we just keep having to have that drive and that vision to keep trying to achieve more. I think one of the opportunities that's really presenting itself is that I think the role of molecular biology, biochemistry can really move beyond human medicine. Which obviously were things like the development of lipid nanoparticles and that type of thing. It has medical applications, but it also has tremendously powerful research applications and utility. And I think it's very important for us to keep a vision that I think a lot of what we do, what we study, is the fundamentals of how life works. And life plays out in so many other ways and impacts society outside of just medicines, new therapies, which are obviously important, and there's great contributions we can make there. But I think having a vision of how does the work we do impact and benefit society. And I think there's opportunities beyond medicine, beyond research techniques, that I hope will become a bigger and bigger part of as we evolve and time passes and we can do more and more work.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think it's really exciting to think about where all of these tools can go and where the science can go in medicine, but also in like environmental research and fundamental life research too. I think those are super interesting areas that we now have so many tools that we can apply towards those questions.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that those seem like long, far off things, but I do think things around the impact on our climate and, you know, the human interaction with that, you know, understanding that at a molecular level, what we can do about it and maybe reverse some of the damage that's been done, how we can use that to benefit biodiversity, you know, even thinking really big, you know, as we explore beyond Earth out into beyond that, you know, maybe our molecular skills will become very important one day
Yeah.
in helping decode and understanding some of that. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking about for
Maybe.
the 25 years.
Yeah, maybe we'll be doing some biochemistry on Mars in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seems like such a far off possibility now, but
Who knows?
who knows?
Yeah.
And if you know, obviously there's a lot of plans for getting people towards other planets and other places where, you know, we're going to have to start seeing life through a different lens. I think understanding the molecular underpinnings of life is going to be important in some of those endeavors.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much. That's the last question that I have.
My pleasure.
Yeah, is there anything else you want to add before we close off?
I think the only other idea, I think I've touched upon it in ways, but in doing things like this interview, thinking about our upcoming 75th anniversary symposium and all these things, I think the one thing that strikes me the most, and I hope all our trainees will take the opportunity to view that, a department is not the building. It is not the individual research groups. It is not even just the papers we publish. At the end of the day, it's people. It is the people that make our department what it is. Those people are going to spread out over the globe, and I hope that there's always a long-term shared vision of where we came from and when we work together, that buildings will come and go, people will come and go, research themes will come and go, but it will always be about the people, and that is the faculty, the staff. I think often our staff don't come to mind often enough, but they're such a valuable part of the without them, we couldn't do what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's the faculty, it's the trainees, it's the staff collectively make our department and have made us what we are.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're really lucky to be here.
I agree with you on that fully.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been great.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and I'll stop the recording now.